Hey friends, what's up? Derek here from Bomb Socks, back with another week of Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. This week we get the beautiful story of Esther, Queen Esther. Such a good story in the Old Testament. There's some great principles here that are very relevant for you and I. So in order to do this, I want to start today and then have a couple things in the middle and then conclude with just kind of an overarching thought. So as we're introducing Esther today, I actually want to take you to the Book of Mormon for a moment. I want to take you over to this picture here. This is the waters of Mormon, or these are the waters of Mormon, I guess you could say that. Here is Alma. He is baptizing people. So I want to take you over to Mosiah chapter 18 for a moment. Okay, so Mosiah chapter 18, from about verses 7 to 15, we have what are known as just our baptismal covenants, the things that are required of us as members of the church to be able to keep that covenant with God. So I want to go over to about verse 8 in Mosiah chapter 18. It talks about, here's the waters of Mormon. Now, as you're desirous to come unto the fold of God, being willing to bear one another's burdens that they may be light, yea, and are willing to mourn with those that mourn, comfort those that stand in need of comfort. And this phrase, I think, is a crucial phrase to what we're going over this week with the book of Esther. To stand as witnesses of God at all times and in all things and in all places that ye may be in, even until death, that ye may be redeemed of God, numbered with those of the first resurrection, ye may have eternal life. Then it goes through and talks about serving God and making sure you are keeping his commandments. So I want to focus on that phrase for a second, to stand as a witness, at all times, all things, and all places, even until death. Now, what's interesting about this is Alma had just witnessed this happen with Abinadi. He had witnessed Abinadi stand as a witness of God until death. So as I was thinking about that phrase, I think that phrase has two meanings to it. So the first definition of that even until death, I think, is at the peril and the risking of your own life. And we've seen that happen a lot in scriptures, where individuals are literally standing as a witness of God until death. You've got Abinadi, like I just mentioned. You've got Joseph and Hiram Smith, who were witnesses even until death. You've got the Apostle Stephen in the New Testament. You've got other individuals, groups of individuals, the Anti-Nephi Lehis in the Book of Mormon, who literally stood as a witness even until death, at the peril of their own lives. Now, the other definition, I think, to this can be until the day you die. So even until death, which means you stand as a witness till that day that you die. And as I'm looking at both of those, I really think the one that's going to affect us the most is probably the latter of the two. I don't know if there will be many of us. There may be a few. I'm not trying to say that couldn't happen. But most of us, I think, won't go out in a blaze of glory with our testimonies as we're, going through all of this dramatic peril. I think most of us are probably just going to live very regular lives and hopefully stay and stand as a witness even until the day we die. And standing as a witness, standing requires a little bit of effort, right? Sitting and relaxing, yeah, that doesn't take much effort, but standing takes effort. And so as I was thinking about this whole idea and the whole book of Esther here, our baptismal covenant invites us to serve others, to help lift them. Now, in order to serve them, like I said, we have got to stand up and we've got to be with them, which may require us to get out of our comfort zones a little bit. And so, I've seen people talk about how I'm a spiritual person. I don't need to necessarily have religion in my life. Well, with regards to religion, what happens is the main thing that sets our church apart from others is covenants. And when you keep those covenants to stand as a witness of God, to be able to mourn with those that mourn, to comfort those that stand in need of comfort, it means you need to be with those. It means you need to be around other people. And oftentimes that means to get out of our comfort zones. When our nature might be to just kind of sit back and be able to do nothing and just feel spiritual, we need to step out and be able to be a witness of God in all times and in all places and in all things that we do. And so that plays nicely into the book of Esther, because you've got three individuals specifically that we're going to focus on this week. You've got Queen Vashti, which we'll talk about tomorrow. You have got Esther herself, and then you've got Esther's cousin, the man who basically raised her, and we'll talk more about that. His name is Mordecai. And these are all individuals who had to, at one point, step out of their comfort zone a little bit and be able to stand as a witness. And so I think as we're going through that this week, will you please keep that in mind, that in order for us to really make a difference in the world, it requires us to stand as a witness, even until death, which means we hang in there. We we endure to the end. Right now, it's difficult for a lot of people to stand as a witness of God even until death, to hang in there through the difficult things. So hopefully this study of the book of Esther will help us be a little bit more resolute in our willingness to stand as a witness. And hopefully you'll be able to see some things that can help you do the very same thing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thank you so much for sharing these messages. We're so grateful that you do that. Please check out our amazingly comfortable gospel themed socks at bombsocks.com, and we will see you tomorrow. Godspeed. Bye-bye.